What if the blueprint for tomorrow's sustainable cities isn't found in Silicon Valley, but buried in Africa's ancient past? Prepare to have your assumptions shattered as we unearth the forgotten urban planners whose ingenuity built resilient, eco-friendly metropolises thousands of years ago. Their revolutionary solutions hold urgent lessons for our climate-challenged world. When most people think of Africa's past, they picture kings and monuments. But look closer, and you'll find something far more profound. Behind the pyramids and temples lies an astonishing story of sustainable city building. Let's begin with Egypt. The pyramids weren't just tombs. They anchored entire urban systems, workers' villages, reservoirs, temples, farmlands, all synchronized with the rhythm of the Nile. Workers' villages near Giza housed thousands, with bakeries, breweries, and waste systems. Every year, the Nile's floods renewed the soil. Egyptians built canals and dikes to guide the waters, feeding millions without exhausting the land. This was resilience, not excess. But what if their greatest innovation wasn't towering stone, but something as humble as mud and brick? Mudbrick was their hidden marvel, locally made, endlessly recyclable, naturally cooling in summer and warming in winter. Limestone and granite came from nearby quarries, minimizing transport long before carbon footprints were measured. Picture a worker stepping into his home after a blazing desert shift. The thick mud brick walls offering natural relief. No fan, no fuel required. This was construction designed to last and to give back. A circular economy 4,000 years ahead of its time. Egyptians didn't only channel floods, they pioneered drainage and waste systems. Archaeologists have uncovered stone-built sewers and even early latrines in worker settlements. In a desert world, they achieved what many modern cities still fail at: water security and integrated waste management. The brilliance wasn't just technical, it was human. Giza's workers' village wasn't a slum. It had bakeries, medical facilities, and housing blocks so well organized that some call it the first company town. 20,000 to 30,000 workers lived in planned settlements. At dawn, bakers stoked ovens, doctors treated injuries, brewers filled jars of beer. Far from slavery, evidence shows these workers were honored with food, healthcare, and burials near the pyramids. What do the pyramids teach us? That cities can thrive on local materials, that water can be cycled, not squandered, that communities prosper when resources are shared, not hoarded. Egyptian architects weren't only serving kings, they were testing principles of sustainability that our cities, facing climate crisis, desperately need today. And Egypt was only the beginning. Across Africa, other civilizations built underground reservoirs in deserts, terraces on mountains, and entire cities from stone and coral. Carthage, Rome's rival, was also a hydraulic wonder. Engineers built cisterns, reservoirs, and aqueducts that stored millions of liters, sustaining nearly 500,000 people. La Malga cisterns could store 50,000 m3. Picture a sailor docking in Carthage's bustling port, knowing the city's vast cisterns meant fresh water even in drought. The city's twin harbors weren't just naval bases, they were ecological engines designed with circular docks that controlled current and kept waters clean. Military harbor could dock 220 ships, water flow engineered. This was an urban ecosystem, water, trade, and community in balance. How did a kingdom in the mountains outlast droughts that crushed others? Aksum, in today's Ethiopia, built terraces into slopes, capturing rainfall and preventing erosion. Terrace farming and rock-cut reservoirs sustained Aksum. Aksum thrived as a trade hub, connecting Africa, Arabia, and India while practicing agroforestry that preserved soils and forests. Pollen studies show agroforestry practices. Merowe in Sudan was the iron city, yet its furnaces didn't poison the land. They ran on renewable charcoal from managed forests. Iron smelting relied on renewable charcoal. They balanced industry with ecology, a renewable cycle of cut and regrow. And in the desert, they thrived on water engineering. Massive hafirs, some 200 meters wide, stored seasonal rains, many still in use today. Hafirs sustained desert life. Imagine standing at a hafir's edge, a lake of rainwater in the desert, keeping a city alive through dry months. Timbuktu. In the 14th century, while Europe's libraries burned in the Dark Ages, Timbuktu preserved more than 700,000 manuscripts on agriculture, water, medicine, and astronomy. 180 schools, 700,000 manuscripts. Mosques like Jingwerebe were built of adobe with natural ventilation and renewable scaffolding, architecture as climate response. Picture students hunched over manuscripts on farming and the stars in a mud brick classroom cooled by desert winds. How do you build walls taller than a house without a drop of mortar? At Great Zimbabwe, massive dry stone walls rose 10 meters high, stable and breathable. Dry stone technique regulated temperature. They weren't just fortifications, they cooled by day, warmed by night. They blended cattle enclosures, terraced farming and marketplaces, sustaining 10,000 to 20,000 people through agro-pastoral balance. Agro-pastoral systems supported 10,000 to 20,000. Along the Swahili Coast, cities like Kilwa and Lamu rose from coral stone. Houses breathed with the sea breeze, shaded streets funneled wind, and courtyards kept homes cool. Coral rags porous texture cooled buildings. These were walkable cities built on trade, ecology, and community. From Carthage's cisterns to Timbuktu's manuscripts, from Zimbabwe's stone to Kilwa's coral, Africa's cities prove sustainability isn't new. It's ancient wisdom we've forgotten. Today, as climate change threatens our future, we look to glass towers and mega projects. But what if the answers are already here in Africa's blueprints? Imagine cities that breathe with nature, harvest water like Carthage, cool themselves like Zimbabwe, and treasure knowledge like Timbuktu. That future isn't a dream, it's a memory waiting to be revived.